Peace. I wanted to make a video blog and talk about something I think is interesting. I like to call it like quiet racism because I think it's based on racism. I think the root is racism, but I know it's more tied into culture, and class actually more than race. But I'm using the quiet racism for like a lack of a better word to describe this phenomenon that happens that I experience in Colorado and other people experience it as well. So I wanted to talk about it. But it is based on culture. It's based on a particular culture, it just happens to be white culture, so it seems from outside perspective to be racist and stuff. And maybe it can be a little bit, I don't know, but I want to talk about it. Okay. So, I meet a lot of girls. I go out to like a lot of live music and I dance and I dress up and somehow I attract people because I just look different, I dress different, I'm dancing different. And people seem to like that, whatever the case may be and stuff. So I meet a lot of people all the time. But I noticed that I meet like Mexican girls, I meet black girls, I meet Asian girls, and I meet white girls, like all different kinds. And I noticed it with white women, particularly middle class, like suburban or white women that come from like the middle class, upper middle class, or wealthy families, or suburban, whatever the case may be. And this is not putting down suburban people. I'm just saying that, they come from that class, if you will, I noticed that they always make assumptions about people, when you meet them, they make assumptions about you, meaning me, like right away, and it's always wrong, and I think that's kind of funny. And I think that with like women of color, like Mexican women, they don't do that, and black women don't do that. And also, I noticed that white poor women or white women that come from like poor families or grew up like on welfare, grew up living amongst Mexican people or living amongst black people who are kind of like lower class white people. They don't do that when I meet them, but it's only like the middle class women that do that. So what they do is for one thing, when I meet these people, they come up to me and they start talking to me first. Like they see me dancing and they come up to me, hey, I like the way you dance. I like your style and I like your vibe. They always say that, which is cool and everything. It's always nice to be complimented. And then they just start talking to me. Now, a lot of times they would be like, hey, let me get your contact information for you. Could tell me about all the events that are going on. I don't know really what's going on. And so, and they think that I know everything, which I kind of do know. Well, a lot of stuff is going on, music wise, but they always ask me. So I go, okay. So I give them my number and then they start texting me or whatever. And so, but I noticed that after they text me, they start to just assume that I want to date them. And they just make these assumptions, they make these blanket statements like, oh, I have a boyfriend, or, I just want to be friends with you. And I'm like, dude, I didn't ask you out. And then the weird thing about it is they text me first and they start saying, hey, what are you doing tonight? Are you going anywhere? Are you going? Then if I say, yeah, I'm going to this concert that's free, you should show up. It's awesome. Then they would say, after that, they would say, oh, well, I have a boyfriend. And I'm like, dude, I didn't ask you out. You asked me where I was going. I just related the information to you. And then because we're talking and you text me, I figure I just invite you, not because I'm inviting you to come hang out with me, but I'm inviting you to this event because I think that's the thing to do if you reach out to me first and you gave me a number and I never reached out to you first and you reached out to me first. So I thought I got to pay you back by inviting you. I think that's just the polite thing to do, right? So whenever I do that, it backfires because they always think I want to take them out on a date or something. And this happens all the time, man. And it always happens with a particular girl, with like a really super cute girl that's like, has really straight teeth and, and manicure nails and kind of like, I don't know, like sassy. I don't know what to call those type of girls and pop culture, basic. I don't know what you want to call them. I think they're cool, and everything. And I have all kinds of friends and everything. But it's a particular girl that thinks that, that I want to date them. And then, so I had enough, man. And I was talking to this girl and then she texted me and she's just like, well, I don't want to, she said all this weird shit. Not weird, but she said all this stuff. And then I was like, why do you think that I want? And so I finally said something. I just let it go and I don't talk to them when they say stuff like that. But I just kind of with this person, I was like, why do you think that? What did I show you? How did I show you an interest that I wanted to date you? Like, if I wanted to date you, I would be like, hey, you want to go hang out and go to the movies? Do people say that anymore? I don't think so. And so, but if I wanted to date her, I never really date people. I just meet people and we hang out and we just end up together. Like, that's how all my relationships always been. So I never really, hey, you want to go on a date? I'm not a, hey, you want to go on a date type of person. So I never did that. I just hang out with them. Then one thing leads to another. Then we end up together. That's always how it happens and stuff. So my motivation or my motives is never to like hook up with people, to be with people. I just hang out with them and we just see where our friendship goes, and stuff. And that's how it's been with me. So that's why I'm always dumbfounded when they just say that I'm trying to like hit on them and stuff. And then when I'm not trying to hit on them and I'm not flirting with them either, I'm not like, wow, look at your eyes. They look so beautiful in the sunlight. Or on the moonlight, whatever the case may be. I never do that, man. But they always assume that I want to date them. They always assume that I'm coming on to them. And then when I tell them, if I say something, they would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I will make or, jumping the gun or whatever." But this one person is like, "You sure? You telling the truth?" I'm like, "What? That's pretty daring to say something like that." So I didn't really know what to say and everything. But I noticed that women of color don't do that. Like Mexican girls, you could text a Mexican girl, you can invite her to anything. Either she comes or she doesn't go. But they never assume that you want to date them. They never, unless you say, "Hey, baby, you want to hang out? I want to date you. I think you're hot," or something like that. Then they would be like, yes or no. They would know right away. But they just don't make assumptions about a person talking to them. It's only these middle class kind of suburban people. Not the suburban middle class people are bad or wrong in any way, but that's just the class in which they come from. These people, and it's a trend because they all come from the same class, and everything. But white girls don't do that. Like if I meet like poor white girls that come from like poor class that are like you know trailer women, for lack of a better word. I know people call them, I think that's a horrible word to use, but that's what people call them. But I think that those type of white girls that come from that background are fucking cool, and they also hang out with them a lot, and they're like so down to earth, and they're like black people with just white skin. And I hang out with them a lot and stuff, and they never make assumptions about if you want to date. If then they tell you right off the back if they're interested, they'll be like, "I think you're hot. I want to hang out with you. I want to do something." Like right in my, I had girls tell me right in my face, "I think you're hot, man. I want to hang out. You want to do something?" They don't bullshit around and stuff. But it's only these middle class girls. And you know what? To be honest with you, it is about race. It is a racist thing because these girls, they just assume that every person of color wants to sleep with them because that's the lie they've been fed, that men of color, black men or brown men, want to sleep with white women, like white women are the prize, and that we want to sleep with them. But that's not the truth. The truth is that we want to sleep with every girl. It doesn't want to matter what you are. And so you could be a fucking Eskimo and shit from Siberia. But it doesn't matter what you are. That's just how men are. I'm not saying that I'm like that, but that's how men are. It's not just, they don't just want white women. I said, but somehow they always think that people of color want them. People of color, men of color, black men, Mexican men, they want black and Mexican women. That's who they're attracted to the most. They just tend to they just want to date different people. They want to see how it is to be with a white girl. They want to see how it is to be with a blonde girl, and so they just want to explore, and they like different women, and so they end up dating outside of their race. But it's not that they're seeking that. It's not that they want that, and they think and they biting their nails. So they go, that white girl maybe should date me. You know what I'm saying? I think that these girls think that. They think that that's what we're doing. That we just like waiting for a white girl to come around, middle class, rich white girl come around, for we could date them and feel good about ourselves. And no, we just think you hot, but then again, the black girl standing behind you, we think she's hot too. And if she wants to give us a break, we'll hang out with her too. We'll hang out with you too. Equal opportunity. That's kind of what people of color are thinking. That's in their mind, and not just after white women. But these women, they always think that, to the point where I feel like I don't want to like hang out with them anymore. And I think that when they give me their number, I'm gonna be like, that's okay, I'll pass. I'm gonna be like, I'll pass if they give me their number, because I keep going through this like repeatedly, and I just don't want to go through it anymore. And I just want to be their friend. And if I meet someone that's really cool, that's not gonna be like that, then I'll be their friend. But I just feel like I don't want to take anyone's number anymore if they're gonna play that game, and they're gonna just think that I want to date them, which I don't.